Welcome back to On the Diamond and Into the Deep. Today, we're discussing yesterday's trade by Jerry Dipoto and Justin Hollander to acquire relief pitcher Gregory Santos and establish truly a big three in the back of the Mariners bullpen. So we'll start with that. We'll go repercussions of that. Anything that has to do with that. We'll talk about the return that Seattle gave up. Then we'll get into what should we do from here? What can we do from here? All right. Then we'll close out with, as always, Seattle Sports Wraparound. We got some big stuff going on in the Seattle Seahawks land. Not much elsewhere. It is All-Star Week in the NHL, so not much going on there. But let's get into it. So kicking things off, we got a trade in Mariners land. The second of a big week in Mariners land. Seattle Mariners acquired relief pitcher Gregory Santos. And if you haven't heard the name, into this season, you will know this name. You will know this name. I'll get into why in a second, but let's start with what the Mariners gave up. So again, if you didn't hear, Mariners traded for Gregory Santos, relief pitcher, in exchange for relief prospect Prelander Berroa, former second-round pick Zach DeLoach, and a competitive balance pick in round B, which, again, if you didn't know you could trade those, that was new with the new CBA a few years ago, and that is the 69th overall pick in next year's draft. So it shows the value the Mariners see in Santos if they're willing to give up a draft pick that they have been hitting on draft pick after draft pick after draft pick, especially in that second and third round range these past few years. So to see them part with one of those, that shows, number one, they believe in Santos, and number two, they want to win now. And I'll explain why I think that is probably even more important than seeing that they themselves believe in Santos, because it is important to see that they believe in Santos. That's incredibly important, because this Mariners pitching development team and everyone that they acquire, they are very good at that. So to see that they are willing to part with a very valuable piece in a Prelander Berroa, he has the ceiling of almost nobody, but also to part with that draft pick that they've been hitting on, again, draft pick after draft pick after draft pick for this guy. So I personally hadn't heard of Gregory Santos before this trade, but let's get into who he is. All right? Let's do this. Gregory Santos is a relief pitcher. He throws hard. He throws a fastball, slider combo, disgusting slider that is truly unbelievable. He pairs that with a sinker for basically the other 50% of the time. He throws a slider 52.6% of the time, sinker 43.7%, throws a four-seam fastball 2.2, and a changeup 1.4% of the time. So basically slider sinker combo, both of which are absolutely filthy. The sinker averages at about 100 miles an hour, averages at 89 or 98.9. Wow. The slider averages at 91.4, and he throws hard. The sinker reached up to 103 this year. There's a video of him striking out. I don't know if it's a strikeout, but him getting a swing and miss from Randy Arozarena of the Tampa Bay Rays at 103 below the zone with that sinker. And then the slider is what is his pitch. You can see why he throws it over 50% of the time. Opponents are hitting 196 off of it. Their expected batting average is 202. That is truly unbelievable. They're slugging 203, which is even more just ridiculous. To slug 203 off a pitch is, like, insane. The expected slugging was 257, so slightly better for hitters, but still a ridiculous slider. He's got good extension on it, good spin on it. The whiff percentage is 37.5%. That is high. If you don't know, that is high. Put away percentage is 26.7, so he's putting dudes away with it. Again, that's very good. That slider is a filthy pitch, and if you haven't seen a video of it yet, go look up Gregory Santos slider on Google or on YouTube, wherever you want to see it, even Twitter, and it is ridiculous. It is filthy. He gave up 2 home runs the entire season. He threw... How many innings did he throw? Santos threw... Where's innings? 66 and a third innings last year. And again, he gave up 2 home runs. 66 strikeouts, so he was a third of an inning away from having a strikeout for every inning. But, close enough. He gave up 25 runs in those 69 innings, or 66 innings, 69 hits. And you go to his baseball savant, and it is red. It is very much red. That was the first thing I looked at, and I saw that. I hadn't heard of this dude. I saw his baseball savant, and I said, wow. The words that came out of my mouth were wow. You look at his barrel percentage, it is 100th percentile. If you don't know what that means he is tied for best in the league at the percentage of which hitters are getting a barrel to the baseball. And a barrel to the baseball means that you're hitting the ball hard. It means you're hitting it and you're squaring it up. So having 100th percentile in barrel percentage at 1.5%, yeah, that means he's practically impossible to square up. And if you can't square up, you're going to be popping it up. You're going to be hitting it on the ground. His ground ball percentage is 87th percentile. Ground ball percentage is 52.2% of the time. Again, ridiculous. He doesn't walk dudes especially much, 5.9% of the time, 85th percentile for Savant. His fastball velo averages at 98.8, which I mentioned earlier, and that is 98th percentile in the league. This dude is filthy. His breaking ball, the slider, is rated 98th percentile in terms of run value for Savant. The dude, his slider is ridiculous. It is filthy. What pitcher reminds you of that slider? I'm going to tell you right now, it's a Mariner. And that pitcher is Andres Munoz. When you look at the sliders side by side, they are both very good sliders. And I'm not talking about last year's Munoz slider. I'm talking about 2022 Andres Munoz slider. A 2022 Andres Munoz slider that was ridiculous. It was unhittable. That is what Gregory Santos is. So you throw in both the 2 dudes sliders I mentioned alongside a Matt Brash slider, which truly is alien. It's not even human, Matt Brash's slider. And you throw those 3 dudes in the back of your bullpen, yeah, it's going to be very hard to get runs if you are down in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings against this Mariners team. And then think about that combined with the Mariners' rotation of George Kirby, Luis Castillo, Logan Gilbert as your top 3. Then not even forgetting the high upside and the value you have in both going to be second-year sophomores in Bryce Miller and Brian Wu, both of which had unbelievable rookie seasons. This Mariners pitching staff, there is no question in my mind, is the best in all of baseball. Definitely the best in the American League West. The only one that competes is the Houston Astros. And I believe that after those first 3 in the bullpen, the Mariners have a stronger bullpen than the Astros. Sure, the Astros' top 3 might be better in Presley, Abreu, and now Hader. But this Mariners bullpen with Munoz and Brash and now Santos as your back 3 is very, very strong. So looking at Fangraphs, all right, let's look at some Zips projections. Santos predicted 1.1 WAR. So that's a win. Munoz is projected for 1.6 in comparison. 1.1 is tied for 16th in all of baseball for relievers. Then you go look at a Matt Brash. I believe his projected is 0.9 or so. It must have got, I think it went down after the trade, but Brash is projected for 0.8. It went down 0.1 from yesterday when Santos was a Chicago White Sox. But these dudes, this back of the bullpen is ridiculous. Let's look at FIP. If you don't know what FIP is, it's basically ERA, but it's accounting for ballpark factors. It's accounting for defense. Santos is projected for 2.72 FIP. Now you're probably wondering, well, is that good? Is that bad? Is that good? Is that bad? Comparison. Andres Munoz is projected for a higher whip, a worse whip, at 2.88. 2.88. Santos is projected by Zips to be second in all of baseball for FIP. The Mariners have 3 in the top 26 for FIP. This bullpen could be unfreaking believable. All right? This bullpen, I don't even want to say could. This bullpen is going to be unbelievable. And sure, you had to part with a Prelander Baroa. I'm at spring training in person last year. He's filthy. But this guy, this guy is the real deal. He is what Prelander Baroa you wanted him to become. And now you get him for this year, and you have not 1, not 2, not 3 years of control. Oh, did you ask if it was 4? No, it's not 4. They have a 5 years of control. They have control through 2029 on this dude. Yeah, this bullpen is going to be the real deal, and it's going to be the real deal throughout this entire core of players that could be coming up from the minor leagues. This is a deal that shows not only do they want to win this year, but they see the outlook on the future when they're looking at their farm system, and they see the possibility for big-time wins, and they want to start that this year. Not next year, not 2026, not 2027. They want to start winning this year. That gets me excited. That gets me amped. That gets me damn hyped up. This team is going to be good. If they stay healthy, this team is going to be good. And sure, health is a question mark, but I'd much rather have health as a question mark, as it is every season. Maybe it's more so this year, but I'd rather have health as a question mark than performance be the question mark. And last year, there was a question mark surrounding performance, surrounding did they do enough? And now, Jerry and Justin, I believe, have done enough this offseason to make this team better than it was last year, to make this team, if they stay healthy, the favorite in the American League West. The favorite to win the division. This is something we need to do. We need to win the division. It hasn't been done since since 2001. It's been 23 years if they don't do it this year. It's now or never. We got to do it. And they are now one move away, I would say one corner outfielder away, that is going to be established, that is a good bat, and that is going to stay healthy. They are that guy away from being an immense favorite in not only Seattle media, not only fans, but in national media for the American League West, and to make an appearance in the ALCS. That's the next step the Mariners have to reach. You have to win the division, and you have to get the ALCS. That's the next step you have to take. We can make the playoffs this season, and I'll be overjoyed. You can win another series in the playoff, and I'll be overjoyed again. But the goal should be winning World Series, and maybe that shouldn't be necessarily the immense expectation this year. Expectation should be making it into at least the ALDS. But from fans, we should want the ALCS, and that's what we should see. See the ALCS, see winning the division as a mark that shows, yeah, we're serious. We have a future. Let's go do this. And much of the team is coming back next year. Much of the team will be there in 2025, if not all of the team. And you will have a Cole Young. You will have a Harry Ford. You will have a Jonathan Clase. Maybe even a Cole Emerson late in that year. Coming up, supporting this team in young fashion for talented kids. Yeah, this team, we have a future. We have a bright future. And all I got to say is I am freaking amped. Now, let's get to the return which the White Sox got. Because it did hurt a little bit. Seeing it originally, I was like, whoa, Prelander Baroa. But again, like I said a few minutes ago, Prelander Baroa, the ceiling for him is probably what Santos is. And Santos probably has a higher ceiling than what Baroa has. And Baroa has struggled mightily with control in the minors. We even saw it in the one appearance he made last year. Sure, that there's that clip floating around Twitter all over of that one strikeout he had. But, I mean, honestly, I would probably rather have Santos. The dude is going to be effective, and I expect him to be effective this year. Prelander, you were probably just hoping a little bit for him to be a big impact piece this year. The rest of it, I don't really care. Again, the draft pick is probably the second biggest, if not the biggest piece. Deloach is kind of a nothing. His ceiling at this point was probably a fourth outfielder. He struck out too much in the minors, former second-round pick. I did like him. He's a fan favorite as a prospect, sort of as a joke, sort of seriously. But, I'm perfectly happy parting way with both those dudes and this draft pick. And again, as I said at the start, what does the draft pick show? It shows that they truly believe in Santos. And it shows that they want to win now. That's where I'm going to move on and transition a little bit. Because seeing that they wanted to win now changed my mind on some things. So following the Polanco trade, I sort of felt like, yeah, if they get a really good deal, that's probably it. And yeah, this deal was a good deal. This was a great deal for Seattle. This is probably my favorite, probably their best trade of the entire offseason. Although I loved the Polanco trade and even the Rayleigh trade. This is probably my favorite. But I'm not 100% convinced they're done now. Hearing the Kepler rumors right after the Polanco trade that he was also involved in talks, I was expecting that was probably before the trade for Rayleigh and Haniger. But honestly, I'm not so 100% sure now. I feel as though they might make another move. And again, I think it's still going to be a thing where they have to get a good deal that they like. But I think teams are going to be willing to give a good deal at this point. This market is going to heat up, and it's got to heat up fast. We are now only 8 days away from pitchers and catchers. Players aren't going to wait forever. And we still have big bats on the market. You still have Matt Chapman. You still have Cody Bellinger. And boy, would Cody Bellinger look great in this lineup. You add Cody Bellinger to this lineup, and I'm saying ALCS World Series. Let's go. Let's go win the World Series. That's what I'm saying. They are one bat away from my confidence going from, yeah, I feel pretty good. If we stay healthy, we could win the division. To, yeah, we're winning the division. Yeah, let's make the ALCS. Yeah, I think we can make the World Series. I'm amped. I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. I'm sure you can feel that emotion that I'm showing. That I'm not only showing, but that is truly radiating off of me. I'm amped up. I'm so pumped for this season. I've got my spring training trip all planned out now, basically. So I'll be down in Arizona in March. So I'm so excited to do that. But I'm just I'm truly so amped for the season. And if they make another move, I'll do an emergency pod. And I have a feeling that they're gonna make one. There's just there's a piece of me that feels like they want to win and that they've shown that so strongly this offseason that they're not done. And if they are done, yeah, I'm amped anyway. This roster is really freaking good. You have the best pitching staff in all of baseball, probably. And you combine that pitching staff with a lineup that is the best it's been in my lifetime. Well, maybe not. But it's the best it's been since the rebuild began. This is the best roster the Mariners have had in my lifetime, I would say, easily. There's no question about that. We're a playoff team now. Let's go make the playoffs. Let's go do some stuff. As soon as you get into the playoffs, who knows what can happen? If we're healthy in the playoffs, this pitching staff could carry us a long way. All right? So again, I'm so amped. I think that this just yearning to win is radiating off of the organization, not the ownership, but is radiating off the front office at this point, radiating off the players, radiating off fans. I don't care. There's fans that are going to complain about everything, and they're going to complain about this trade. They're going to complain about Polanco trade, but I don't care at this point. They are both great trades. They're win now, they're win next year, they're win in the future trades, and I'm amped. So I think that'll close it out for Mariners talk. Mariners land. We'll do another one probably. I'll try to record Thursday or Friday of this week, probably. Probably Thursday. I'll try and get a recording in. Obviously, stuff could happen, but let's get into some Seattle Sports Wraparound. Starting with the Seahawks. Mike Macdonald, Seattle Seahawks head coach. They're going to fill out the coaching staff. This is a great hire. I love it. He sounds like a fantastic guy. He's 36 years old. Pete Carroll is 72 years old. He is half the age of Pete Carroll. He is going to be able to relate to these players in a way that Pete Carroll simply could not just because of age. And Pete Carroll was good at relating players, but not in the way that Mike Macdonald, I believe, is going to. So again, Mike Macdonald, Seahawks head coach, go get a big OC, go get a solid DC, and let's get cooking. There's been reports of Ryan Grubb being an option. I would love it. I love Ryan Grubb. So let's get cooking. Onto the Sounders. Again, as I talked about last episode, De La Vega is a Sounder. They've had a couple preseason games. I don't know if he's played in them. They have, I believe, won this morning 3-0. Goals from Tevez in the second half or third period or whatever they're doing. And then goals from Rusnak and I believe Morris maybe or Roldan. But yeah, so they're in preseason mode. We'll get that going sooner. Big news surrounding the World Cup today. Seattle is going to host 6 games, 4 group stage, including one United States men's national team group stage game. They're going to have a round of 32 game. They're going to have a round of 16 game. Expensive tickets. Really challenging to get tickets, but I hope to be there, and I can't wait. Between Seattle and Vancouver combined, I believe it's 13 games in the Pacific Northwest. So PNW, let's show out. Let's go. Rock the 206. Rock Vancouver. I'm amped. I can't wait for 2026. It's exciting. Then we will Kraken. Oliver Bjorkstrand had a goal in the All-Star game yesterday, so that is really exciting. They'll get going again this week. Not much else there. Huskies Jed Fish yesterday was at the UW men's basketball game. He said, "We are ready for this year. We are ready for next year, and we are ready for 7 more after that." So I guess 9 years. Believe it when I see it, but whatever. Yeah. So it's been a big weekend really in Seattle sports, but big week. I can't wait for just everything to get going. I can't wait for NHL playoffs. Hopefully, Kraken will get in there. I can't wait for the baseball season. Can't wait for spring training. It's sunny as frick out, so it's a beautiful day. Go get some sun. Go get that vitamin D. And baseball's just around the corner. I can hear the metal spikes on the concrete. I can hear the pop of the mitt. I can hear the crack of the bat. I'm so excited. So go Mariners first and foremost. Go Seahawks. Go Hawks. Go Sounders. Go Kraken. Go Dogs. Again, most importantly, go Mariners, y'all. Jerry and Justin are cooking. Let's get one more. One more big bat. Let's go. Peace, y'all.